Good afternoon, you join us here for the start of the Monza Grand Prix Sprint. And the green flag is up, and it's down, and it's chocks away. And Graham Hill, who was the pole sitter, he's away well in the Lotus Climax, the Lotus Ford, with one of the Hondas there in second place. I think that's John Surtees. John Surtees has actually taken the lead as they run down towards the Curva Grande. For the first time of these 10 laps, into the right-hander they go. It's Surtees ahead of Hill, ahead of Hume, ahead of Rodriguez, that looks like, and perhaps Pierce Courage in fourth place and fifth place. But it's the front two we're looking at now as they charge down towards the Lesmos, into the Lesmo 1. It's Surtees still ahead of Hill. Graham Hill's going to be trying to find, there's a little puff of smoke there from the back of his car or perhaps one of his tyres, but Surtees still manages to keep the lead as he heads in towards turn 2. And Graham Hill's slowing. Graham Hill, I think, is pulling out. Graham Hill, I think, is out of the race. He stopped the car and Graham Hill is out. Well, what a development this is. It's so early into the Grand Prix. Fantastic development. Graham Hill is out already, the firm favourite for the race, having got the pole position yesterday afternoon. Graham Hill he's out of the race. It's quite extraordinary. And there's Pedro Rodriguez chasing home in second place, with John Surtees extending his lead now. He's over 1.5 seconds to the good, as that's Rodriguez trying to go through on the inside into the parabolic. And look at that, they're side by side, balancing it on the throttle. Not very much grip in these cars. Tremendous amount of power to weight ratio. But it's Rodriguez in second place now, ahead of Herm in third. And I think that's one of the Ferraris in fourth place there. I think that could well be Chris Amon, who was off to a flying start as well at the Kiwi. Still yet to win a Grand Prix this year, but we look at the second and third place battlers as John Surtees continues to eke out a lead now. John Surtees over 1.7 seconds to the good in the Honda. And what's going on behind them? It's an interesting battle. There's quite a large train of cars there. I believe there's 10 or 11 cars all line astern. Look at that in the background. Hopefully we're going to get a shot of that. Look at this as they come thundering through there. And who's that in the 77? That's Joey Davis. So there's a car goes off in the background. One of the cars is off, and there's a bit of debris on the inside, on the left-hand side there. But we're looking at Rodriguez. That's Courage, and there's Herm, with John Surtees still out in front now as they run down towards underneath the bridge, down towards the Ascari. John Surtees still over in the lead, and there's Rodriguez off, and my goodness me, he's had a nasty accident against the wall. The yellow flag's out, and there's a driver there who's just gone absolutely cascading through underneath the bridge. Debris absolutely everywhere. Drivers trying to worm their way through there. We're not sure what's happened to Rodriguez. We understood he's possibly gone clear of the car. The car seems to have got stuck up perhaps in the underside of the bridge there. And there's the American, Mario Andretti, in 19th position there. As we look at Denny Hulme, the defending world champion in the McLaren, in 17th position. Not a very good weekend for him, as Joe Slesser, the Swiss driver. Joe Slesser, his fastest lap of 1 minute 40.7 in the second Honda. And there's Savert-Gavin. Savert-Gavin, Johnny Savert-Gavin. He's got a very difficult name to pronounce. Not as easy as Vic Helford, I must say. And Lucien Bianchi in 13th place there. With Jackie Hicks, there's Jackie Hicks in the Ferrari in 12th place. He's really struggling so far. Jackie Hicks, who obviously normally goes very well around Monza, and he really seems to be struggling this weekend. And there's Black Jack Brabham, in 10th place, with Jochen Rindt, the Austrian, in 9th, and Derek Bell, Britain's Derek Bell, in 8th place, with Jackie Stewart. There's Jackie Stewart behind Chris Amon, the number 9 Ferrari, also with Bruce McLaren in 5th place. And there's Pierce Courage in the privately entered Rob Walker car. And there's Joey Davis. Now, there's a name you've not heard before, but my goodness me, Joey Davis. We're riding on board with him underneath the bridge there as he heads down in towards the Ascari, and he started in 8th position. And obviously we've not covered him so far since the start of the race, but he's obviously jumped up into 3rd position, and I can only assume that means that it was him who came flying past everybody else whilst they were all minding their way through the debris from the Rodriguez accident as he comes under the brakes now into the Parabolica. Joey Davis off to a flying start there in the privately entered Lotus, balancing it beautifully out of the Parabolica with Pierce Courage right behind him, and Herm in front of him with John Surtees now even further into the lead. 2.5 seconds to the good now in the Honda, and John Surtees looking an absolute dead cert for the win today already. It's quite extraordinary. If you're wondering where the likes of Jim Clark is further back in the grid. He's also experiencing similar troubles to what we're understanding Graham Hill might have had with his gearbox. We're taking you back to London for a short period now, and the BBC shipping forecast. You rejoin us here in Monza, where the racing has been simply electric. Yes, well, Joey Davis is still in third place now, and he's trying to catch Herm, who's second. And I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do. You can see the movement in the car as he's absolutely firmly on the brakes. Now, Joey Davis has got a very interesting throttle technique. If you look down at the graphics on the left-hand side of your screen, you can see him very carefully balancing the throttle, little short, sharp stabs on the throttle to try and keep up the revs in the engine. But it's not really brought him any closer. The gap has stayed the same to Herm in second place. And Carriage is even closer now. And Carriage is going to be in the slipstream as they run down towards the Curva Grande. On lap 5 now. It's Davis in third with Carriage in fourth. Not sure who's in fifth at the moment because we're not really getting much sight of it at the moment. Look at the way they're balancing on the throttle there. That's absolutely stunning to watch. Little puff of smoke from the left rear tyre. And he's off. He's on the grass. Davis is on the grass, and my goodness me, how on earth did he manage to keep hold of the car and not lose it under the acceleration? Into the braking zone they come into the Lesmo. Davis, another little puff of smoke there. He's going to be trying to keep that Carriage behind him as much as he can. And it's Bruce McLaren. Bruce McLaren's in fifth position now. The Kiwi, and Davis seems to have gone off there. I think he might very well have hit the barrier on the outside of the second Lesmo. It's going to be interesting to see if he's got any sort of damage to the car, because Carriage is now right behind him. And I suspect we're going to have to just see if Davis, if his car starts wibbling and wobbling all over the place, then I suspect he could very well have some damage. He may well be able to drive through it, of course, but he's going to be going slow. And Carriage, I think Perez Carriage is going to try and go for the inside now. Will he go through? No. You can see that Davis is struggling at the moment. Carriage is all over the gearbox of the privately entered Lotus. Because the 1:28 was his fastest lap time before. Carriage is trying to find the outside. Perez Carriage has hit the barrier on the outside. Fantastic development there. And the two of them are over the line to complete the fifth lap. They're into the sixth lap now. And the two of them, with Herm still in second place, and of course John Surtees, the race leader. He is very far in front of everybody now. He's over nearly 2.5 to 3 seconds in front, I do understand. And there's Joey Davis, still in third place, balancing it on the throttle beautifully as he comes thundering past the marshal and towards the Lesmo for the sixth time. Carriage looks like he's going to try and go for it on the inside, but he can't as they come heavily under braking. Carriage looking any opportunity he can possibly get for himself there, with Hearn in second place still. But these two, this is the battle that we really want to see now. Davis keeping the car very much away from the wall that time, with McLaren certainly getting closer, and that looks like Jack Brabham's behind him, and possibly Chris Avon, and then the two matches. The matches of Savor Gavin and Jackie Stewart, Britain's Jackie Stewart, having a lowly race today. But look at this, as Davis comes under attack, and that's Perez Carriage. Davis coming under severe attack now in the privately entered Lotus. Carriage is going to try and find a way through as Davis goes slightly defensive. No, there's nothing doing there for Carriage as they're firmly on the brakes, and Carriage runs a little bit wide. And has Carriage gone off? I think he has. You can see he kicked up a little bit of dust there. And Davis has got a nice little bit of breathing space now, and he's actually closed the gap. So, although he obviously hit the barrier on the previous lap, he must have hit it very squared on, and not actually very hard, because he's just put in a very good lap of 1 minute 28.241, which is just a shade under his previously fastest lap. So I don't think it's really made much difference to Joey Davis, as we're looking forward now, and we're trying to see if Herm is closing the gap up. But John Surtees, as we're on lap 7, Surtees certainly looks as though he's got this race in the bag, all bought and paid for. What? Davis still in third place. Carriage is going to be certainly looking to see if he can close the gap back up. But it's going to be interesting to see now with McLaren, Bruce McLaren in the McLaren. He's in fifth position now, and he certainly looks as though he's getting a lot closer. And there's John Surtees. John Surtees in the number 5 Honda. Was that a little puff of smoke we saw out of the back of it? It certainly sounded like the car's in full song. And he's extended the lead now. He's extended the lead. He's over 3.5, 4 seconds to the good. John Surtees with a superb lead out. He certainly, it sounds a little bit dodgy, his engine. I can't really make out if it's sounding okay or not. But I don't think he's in too bad a shape as he comes up towards the breaking point for the parabolic. And you can see that Herman Davis, they're certainly a lot closer. And I think that Surtees has obviously got some sort of a problem with the Honda engine. Is John Surtees about to come into the pits and actually retire the car? He's getting another little puff of smoke there, and Surtees is heading towards the pits. John Surtees is into the pits, and he's obviously going to retire the Honda, and that means that Herm is in the lead, and Jay Davis fantastically is up into second place with Pearce Cottage in third, Bruce McLaren in fourth. And I think that's Jackie Stewart now in fifth place, and we're riding on board now with Pearce Cottage up to 180 miles an hour down into the Curva Grande here with Davis in front and Herm in first place. What an exciting battle this is as Jerry Davis kicks up a little bit of smoke from the left rear once more. He's going to be trying to see if he can close up on the leading Herm as they come up towards the Lesmos, and we're going to see if Cottage can get any closer. Davis was certainly a lot later on the brakes there. Davis is certainly going to be seeing if he can wrestle the lead away from the German who's leading the race at the moment, with Davis in second place and Cottage in third, and there's McLaren in fourth. It's Jack Brabham in fifth place, and there's Stewart. So obviously Jackie Stewart's lost a little bit of time there, and Davis has now, he's lost a little bit of speed himself. No, I think we're trying to get a replay of something that's happened here. I'm not quite sure what the TV director's actually doing. My goodness me, they're going back towards Graham Hill. Graham Hill's already been out from the very start of the race. No, that's slow motion. That's not going to do us any favours whatsoever. Let's see, is anything doing here? Because Davis certainly lost a lot of time. He lost a lot of time up to Pearce Cottage, who was right behind him. Davis is wiggling and wobbling all over the place there. I beg your pardon? The TV director saying that he understands that perhaps Davis has hit the barrier on the outside of Lesmo 1, pushing a little bit too hard. We saw him very late on the brakes trying to catch home, the race leader. And we understand that Davis has gone off and actually hit the outside barrier at the first Lesmo as Pearce Cottage goes through. Davis tries to hold it onto the inside, but his car definitely seems to be snaking around a little bit more at the back. He's not able to put the power down as early as he would like to, and it certainly looks as though Jerry Davis has got some sort of an issue with the car. And he has definitely hit the barrier. The number 77 Lotus has hit the barrier at the outside of the first Lesmo. And Pearce Cottage and Herm, the race leaders, they're pulling right ahead of him. And that's Bruce McLaren. Bruce McLaren up challenging Davis now for fourth position. I'm pretty sure that McLaren's going to find a way through. As look at, you can see the tyre smoke. He's leaving a big trail of tyres. So he's obviously nursing a very major problem, and Davis is going to be struggling. We've got 2 laps to go. Davis has got a battle on his hands if he wants to finish in the top 6. In his first race in Formula 1, this is quite an extraordinary performance. From the 26-year-old, he's done most of his racing in the Formula 3 circuits around Brands Hatch and Elton Park, in Cheshire and in South London. And this is his first foray into Grand Prix racing, and albeit in the sprint format, he's certainly made a very good account of himself. But understandably, he's very young and inexperienced, so if he has made the mistake, my goodness me, you can see the back end of his car is very much snaking around all over the place there. Look at this. He's lost a lot of time. And there's smoke, there's fire out of the back of the McLaren. Bruce McLaren, I think he made well blown his engine in the pursuit of Davis, and McLaren is out of the race. Davis up into third place now with Jack Brabham right behind him as they come across the line for the last time now. Sorry, for the penultimate time. It's Hume in first place with Cottage in second, and Davis is just about managing to hold off in third place. That's Jack Brabham with a very fast approaching Jackie Stewart. Jackie Stewart in the Matra. And that's Jack Brabham across the line there. Brabham's up into third place as Davis. It's Jochen Rindt, I do apologise. I thought that was Jack Brabham, but it's not. It's the Austrian Jochen Rindt. Very talented young man, and he's up into third position now with Davis still fighting his corner. Davis absolutely giving it all he possibly can, but he loses a little bit of time out of the Curva Grande there, and you can see that Jackie Stewart's a lot faster. Davis, I think he's going to have to go defensive into the first Lesmo. Parks the car in the middle of the circuit. Jackie Stewart, obviously very wise head on those young Scottish shoulders, with Rodriguez pulling further ahead now, and Jochen Rindt as well, and Davis coming under increasing pressure as he puts the right wheel on the grass. And I think it's inevitable now that Jackie Stewart is going to find a way past the Lotus. But he doesn't. Look at this. Davis is absolutely weaving and wobbling all over the place still as they head into the Ascari. And Stewart trying to find a gap through on the inside, but I don't think he's going to be able to do it there. Perhaps he's going to give it one more blast into the Parabolica as they come down on the approach to the Parabolica for the final time. This is for the 10th time. And the final time is the race leaders are through into the Parabolica. And Davis, and they touch. Davis, I think he just left his braking a little bit too early, and Jackie Stewart was left really with nowhere to go. And Herm's across the line now. He comes out of the Parabolica. Herm over the line to take the checkered flag. Fantastic result for the German with Per's Cottage in second place. Jochen Rindt is going to take the third. And Davis sneaking away, and he's fourth. He manages to hold off Jackie Stewart to finish fourth. Fantastic bit of driving there from Joey Davis with Alpes in sixth position. And Jackie Hicks in seventh. What a sprint race.